I'm allowing one horrible fucking thing to watch from conservatives a day. Okay? And I think I'm going to allot that to the Tucker Carlson documentary. That's right. How January 6th was a psyop and the MAGA people were Antifa. Get in now for this visual masterpiece. Let's do it. Shouts out to Weeby and those who fucking not only clipped this, posted this. We're gonna do Channel 5 Utah Rap Festival and shit later. This is the last bit before we move on to like more fun stuff. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the John Oliver, and then probably their argument is Glowy's not Antifa. Yeah, most likely. It's most likely Glowy's, but it doesn't matter because it's like that would imply Donald Trump and Alex Jones are fucking Glowy's. Like, to act like this was backed by the FBI, but not in a way where like the fucking actual cops and like the FBI people were like, hell yeah, brother, let's fucking do this. Let's go storm the Capitol. Is ridiculous. I know this has death and nudity in it, and I have all the time codes. 022 to 029 is the video of Ashley Babbitt shooting. There's images from Abu Ghraib at 46 to 56. There's a brief image of a burned body at 104 to 106. There's ISIS holding a knife to a neck at 328 to 331. I don't know if that's actually TOS. There's a recreated assault that's not TOS. There's a bloody woman from 9/11 that probably isn't TOS either. Fights with David Dorn, very bloody, from 1353 to 1410. What? Why did you guys say Hostanox? What happened? Hell yeah, brother. Let's fucking do this. Let's go storm the Capitol. Is ridiculous. Oh, that's weird. I don't know what happened. My mic glitched out. I don't know if it'll happen again or what the deal was. I hope it doesn't happen again, but yeah, I know there's a new Austinox video too, or a new Hostanox video. We'll do that too. Okay. Let's do this, partner. Let's go.
The domestic war on terror is here. Is coming after half of the country.
The January 6th assault on the Capitol and the tragic deaths and destruction that occurred underscored what we have long known. The rise of domestic violent extremism is a serious and growing national security threat. The Biden administration will confront this threat with the necessary resources and resolve.
America is not a place where you hold.
Wait, hold up. 46 to 56? Oh shit. I'm glad I stopped.
For months in solitary without charges. This is what Guantanamo was set up for Al-Qaeda terrorists who were not U.S. citizens. You don't.
I love that. I mean, they just straight up are like, no, that's for like brown people. They showed images of the Abu Ghraib prisoners being fucking assaulted and tortured, naked images. It's all censored, but even then it's like, you know, I don't want to show it. But yeah, I love that the fucking, in the first 46 seconds of this documentary, a homie was like, that's for brown people. Like, we torture the browns, not the white supremacists. What the fuck? Which is a great way to start off a documentary, I think. You know, I mean, he just literally admitted that, like, which is wild. Yeah.
Don't do that. That's not America. That's the gulag.
You thought the first war on terror was dysfunctional, unjust, counterproductive. Wait until you get War on Terror 2.0.
And our office wants to ensure that there was.
Wait, but they just said that it wasn't unjust. I'm getting mixed messages here from one guy to the other. The one guy was like, you do that to the fucking terrorists. You do that to the brownies, okay? Not to the whiteys. What the fuck? That guy said, it's a gulag. Yeah, which is another word for prison, by the way. In the country that has the highest percentage of incarcerated people on the fucking entire planet, including China, by the way. So, you know, we got them gulags still. It's okay when the black folk are in the gulag. Not okay when the white folk are in the gulag. It's about the vibe. Stop with the logic, please. It ruins the show. Okay. I'll let you lean into it.
Shock and all that we could charge as many people as possible.
I heard a loud voice bark out, FBI, come out with your hands up.
People who are witnessing this inside Baghdad, it must be shock and awe indeed.
The new Secretary of Defense ordered the entire U.S. military to, quote, stand down while investigators cleanse the ranks of political extremists.
Purging out of the military any dissenting voice.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Bro, they're literally, but they agreed with this. Every single freak in this fucking documentary 1000% agreed with George W. Bush when he said that. And not only that, but like Tucker Carlson, the guy who made this documentary, literally on record was like, we need to glass the entirety of the Middle East. They are all primitive apes who deserve nothing but endless amounts of violence. That's your guy. What party was he a part of? None of this makes sense. I mean, look, hating the Democrats for also being imperialist, warmongering, bloodthirsty vultures, that's what I do, okay? I agree. They are fucking pieces of shit as well for continuing America's imperialist project. It's a bipartisan effort. But, like, you can't be like, yeah, I was a political commentator literally during the Bush era, and I was on the record supporting George W. Bush. But now I am going to use that because now they're fucking doing that to the whites.
January 6th was a honeypot. They're going to use this event for every bit of political persecution they can milk out of it.
Wait, what? Wait. He also... Dude, we're not even 2 minutes in. First of all, that's not how honeypots work, man. Wait, what? Why, he did the Dave Rubin thing. It's like, oh, it was a honeypot. Wait, I'm sorry, what? That's... Are you saying that, like they were really horny to, like, do fucking violence at the Capitol and then, like, that's why it's a honeypot? I've never heard anyone fucking use honeypot in this way. When you milk the honey into the pot like Pooh Bear. The insurrections were supposed to fuck Mike Pence. Yeah, like literally. It was a honeypot because they wanted to clap Nancy Pelosi's cheeks. Nancy Pelosi was looking real sexy, okay? Turns out she's a government asset, okay? We were duped. She did that thing where she fucking sprayed her pheromones out of her titties. Like one of them aliens, you know? And when you get the pheromones in the air, you get horny. You're like, oh man, I gotta go. I can't control myself. And then I fucking broke through the Capitol and all of a sudden, she's not even there. Only her scent remains, okay? And then we found out that it was a government asset. Sprayed everywhere. Think about it. Uncontrollably horny. That's right. Okay, to be fair though, like if they are using honeypot, like I'm trying to make honeypot make sense in this term, in this concept, and that would simply imply that like a capital insurrection was something that these guys really, really, really wanted. Like personally, they just really wanted it, which is a self-report.
I hope I live. It's coming down on me.
In the years after 9/11, the media and the national security state.
You can't distinguish between Al-Qaeda and Saddam when you talk about the war on terror.
Used exaggerated threats and outright deception.
Contacts between Al-Qaeda.
Bro, hold the fuck up. Wait, Tucker Carlson is like anti-war on terror now? Wait, when the fuck? Wait, hold on. Guys. The Tucker Carlson? Wait, that's so weird. Well, you know, good thing Tucker Carlson wasn't literally a fucking prominent political commentator back then who, you know, openly said things about the Iraqi citizens.
Place filled with a bunch of, you know, semi-literate primitive monkeys.
But I just have zero sympathy for them or their culture, a culture where people just don't use toilet paper or forks.
And the way they treat women, you know, I agree with you. Their culture is, but you're in their homeland.
Dude, I love when a conservative shock jock is like, yeah, the way they treat women's really wrong. It's like, bitch, what about you? Like, what about the way you treat women? What the fuck? Yeah, that's why we gotta go and fuck their shit up, because the way they treat women is wrong. Me, on the other hand, I beat my wife every night, and that's how you're supposed to do it. When we do it, it's okay. Oh, that's so funny. It's like, yeah, we gotta. I mean, low key, this is why there's bipartisan consensus, right? When it comes to the Imperial Project, conservatives are like, we need to go bomb shit up because they're mistreating women there. And then liberals are like, we need to, you know, make them woke with the missiles that were a Hellfire missile strike is the most successful way of stopping Iraqis from, you know, mistreating the women. That's why we need to stay invading Afghanistan, because women's rights. Doesn't matter who's saying it, okay? The best way to defeat misogyny in Iraq is by killing everyone, okay? Including the women, of course. Indiscriminately murdering people.
And you're over there as an American who they hate, and they want nothing more than the Americans off of their soil. So they're not going to play games.
I mean, they can just shut the fuck up and obey, is my view.
How could you salvage Iraq at this point?
I don't.
By the way, talking to Bubba the Love Sponge.
You know, it's beyond our control. I mean, if somehow the Iraqis decided to behave like human beings or something.
He'd need to say, look, I'm a bigot, okay? I'm a bigot. I don't like Islamic extremists. Like, if you are really heavily into Islam, I'm sorry, I don't care for you that much. And I don't care what that sounds like. You can call me a racist. You can call me whatever the fuck you want.
And at this juncture, you could say that and not catch a lot of shit for it.
You certainly could. I'd vote for you if you said that.
You know, white men have, you know, they've contributed some.
The funniest part about this is like when, I mean, this is like in 2006, so I guess they're still talking about GW, you know what I mean? Or are they talking about, maybe they're talking about Obabe?
Good, I'd vote for you if you said that.
Yeah, they're talking about GW, like he's upset. Imagine being fucking upset that like the George W. Bush administration is not Islamophobic enough. Like their actions are already like horrifying, right? But they're like, you know, I need to hear it. I need to hear it. I'm Tucker Carlson, and I need to hear you say, fuck Muslim people, okay? Or even when it's like, the Obama administration, it's the same shit. It's like you're gonna get mad. Like that was like the entire gripe of like so many of these like classical liberals that came out under the Obama administration. Their gripe was that like Obama wasn't being racist enough And he wasn't being Islamophobic enough. Shouts out to fucking Sam Harris for that one, by the way. Brilliant mind. Brilliant liberal thinker Sam Harris was like, you know, it's not enough that we are continuing the war on terror. We should also have nuclear first strike capabilities and keep doing more racist shit to the Muslims that live here. Because, you know, it's just simply not enough to murder them in their homes when they're trying to go about their daily lives. I think that that's not going to be enough. Like, you're basically saying, like, no, I care about the aesthetics more. You know what I mean?
You know, white men have, you know, they've contributed some, I would say, like creating civilization.
Sam didn't say that. Sam Harris didn't want a nuclear first strike or literally write, write numerous think pieces about how actually racial profiling is good. You think Sam Harris didn't actually fucking say all the same fucking racist dumb shit that you are conditioned into knowing is racist now and stupid? Like Sam Harris, who had Douglas Murray or Charles Murray on his. Oh my God, I fucking caught that. Fuck, that was so good. Sam Harris didn't just do all of that, but also literally had fucking Charles Murray on his podcast and defended him regularly on race science. Because he did do that. Sam Harris, Charles Murray, and the allure of race science. This is not forbidden knowledge. It's America's most ancient justification for bigotry and racial inequality. Sam Harris also wrote numerous articles, including one famously called In Defense of Profiling. Sam Harris also got fucking absolutely cumstered by Noam Chomsky in an email chain where he tried to say that collateral damage was acceptable when you were bombing a fucking factory that literally creates medicine. I think it was in Sudan, right? And that was simply collateral damage. When America, because he's an American exceptionalist, Islamophobic piece of shit, ultimately. He's a liberal who is, again, an America-centric, America-obsessed, entitled, imperialist piece of shit. Sam is just as anti-Christians too, though. Wow, that's really, really profound. I had never heard that before. Was he doing racial profiling for Christians? Was racial profiling for Christians happening already? And that's why he was justifying it? At a time when, like, America is not persecuting Christians, the hyper focus on the persecution that Muslims were experiencing domestically, despite the fact that, statistically speaking, at the very least, that, like, American Muslims are literally fucking significantly less powerful in American politics, especially when you compare them to the fucking zealotry of evangelical Protestants that actually hold on to fucking centers of power, even though literally American Muslims are more progressive when it comes to LGBT issues than, for example, again, the psychopathic white evangelical Protestant Christians. Weird that he was like hyper focusing on that group of individuals. Weird that you were still trying to defend that in 2021 in the year of our holy Lord. Holy fucking shit. That's so interesting that you are doing that. Anyway, what else? I mean, Sam Harris has, like, you know, reshifted his focus to, like, defending medical science and whatnot recently. So I'm sure that, like, a lot of those people who, like, didn't see the fucking Islamophobia that Sam Harris was trafficking, or they were too young for it, and the Charles Murray and the fucking straight up, like, white supremacist arc he had for an extended period of time. I'm sure that you will turn around and only see him as the guy who's, like, bravely defending the scientific community against Brett Weinstein. But Sam Harris has always been and always will be a gigantic piece of shit. I mean, in defense of torture. I mean, my man was spitting, dude. My man was spitting, okay? Yes, the sudden influx of atheists coinciding with the Middle East war. No, I mean, I don't have a problem with fucking atheism. I do have a problem with people who are like aggressively, militantly anti-religion and think that, like, you know, Muslims overall are a gigantic fucking a problem in American civilization and are like completely incompatible to Western civilization. It's a Western supremacist attitude, and it is really fucking stupid. Anyway, so Sam Harris is one of the main psychos that drove me away from the online atheist shit over a decade ago. Dude's a huge piece of shit, and since the beginning of his relevance, yeah. So he has been doing this for a very long time. I would go so far as to say that, like, part of the reason why Joe Rogan is such a fucking dumb ape and like totally fucking went on the side of like the alt-right and became like a trafficker of alt-right ideas was as a consequence of Sam Harris. Anyway, we're so many steps removed from the original video. Let's get back to it. So Tucker Carlson's a piece of shit. Let's remember that. And also he's a hypocritical asshole who literally at the time when he did have power defended vociferously the read the article, idiot. Yeah, no thanks, dude. Oh yeah, just react to the headline of an article. That's not super disingenuous. I know more about Sam Harris's entire body of work than you do. You were just a defender of his because you like what he has to say. So I'm just going to ban you instead of arguing with you, and I'm not going to get stun-locked on this particular dumb Sam Harris point, which was just a simple additional point. Motherfuckers like, imagine reading an article that was chosen to be titled "In Defense of Torture" and not actually looking at the incredible defense that he made to torture Muslims. You're a fucking idiot, dude. Anyway. Get fucked. So as we were talking though, the original problem is the original problem that we were fucking talking about here is Tucker Carlson and his hypocritical statements on the Iraq war, which he defended wholeheartedly.
Al-Qaeda and Saddam Hussein's regime, there are others.
We know they have weapons of mass destruction.
To associate certain ideas with certain events.
9/11, the Saddam Hussein weapons of mass destruction.
This was the first war on terror. Now it's happening again.
January 6th was worse than 9/11.
The very same corrupt interest in Washington.
January 6th was worse than 9/11. That's such a stupid, fucking dumb take, dude. That's so stupid. I love that. I love that. That's like an incredibly idiotic thing to say. I'm sorry. Worse than 9/11. Okay.
Push the Iraq war under false pretenses are now pushing the lie of a domestic white terror army.
Terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat to the homeland today.
They are tying white nationalist terrorism to Trump voters.
You voted for the person who the Klan supported.
They're tying January 6th to 9/11.
I would like to see January 6th is burned into the American mind as firmly as 9/11.
They're tying.
I mean, it is still kind of wild that like January 6th was insane. Okay, we did see a hog rebellion, a hog insurrection. Okay, it failed. Because like it kind of wasn't as organized or as like pointed as 9/11 was. Like not like dabbing up fucking Al-Qaeda here, but like they had a specific set of goals, which was to sow chaos and disrupt the American political process and strike at the core, like strike at the imperial core because they have gay people in America or whatever the fuck Osama bin Laden believed. It was like a bunch of different things, right? And that was why it was one of the most successful terror attacks of all time. I mean, straight up, it literally is. Its remnants is part of the reason why America got into the war on terror, which was, a big money maker for them, obviously. And that we're seeing the effects of that still, like an endlessly inflated military budget, Like, I mean, that was already happening. Osama bin Laden was like the perfect fucking person to point to, but it's literally the most successful attack because it created a ongoing war on terror narrative that justified in the hearts of many Americans this endless conquest. So the January 6th insurrection, on the other hand, none of that. You know, there's none of that. It's just like a bunch of fucking hogs who got fed up and were very angry and wanted to release some stress. You know, maybe it makes it to the top 5 if you're gonna consider it like a terrorist attack. But ultimately, come on. Like, they had no fucking set of goals. You know what I mean? They were just like motivated by anger, and like Trump was pointing them in that direction, and that's it. Watch the Mojo Terror tier list. Yeah.
Millions of law-abiding Americans to Al Qaeda and ISIS, pushing
the fucking. It doesn't show you the blood, but it doesn't matter. The thing I was gonna say. The thing I was gonna say is, like, I mean, yeah, they didn't kill. There was no, like, they didn't get to literally soy in terms of body count compared to the 7,000th white domestic terror shooting. Yeah, like there are, especially if you look at it from a body count point of view, like there's literally fucking like white supremacist terrorists. Like El Paso was worse than January 6th. Okay. But it was like another Tuesday and we forgot about it. You know what I mean? You had a fucking white supremacist, like Trump-aligned psycho who went to El Paso, or Walmart in El Paso, to kill as many fucking Mexicans, in his words, as he possibly could. Okay.
Them more into this violent white extremism, much the way bin Laden, did, sort of inspiring people to be this way.
You link two concepts together, even if they don't belong together.
No external terror.
Yeah, they don't belong together. Dude, this is literally the anti... My man read Rain from friend of the show, Spencer Ackerman. Remember how I did that like big interview with him? I feel like they read that book and were like, how do we make the exact opposite of this book? Because he ties like white supremacist terror and the way we analyze it in America to like, domestic terror to fucking outside foreign intervention or foreign acts of terror, and how differently we treated that, and how... while there is some truth to the fact that like the FBI and our surveillance, like our FBI and our surveillance state is now like reshifting its focus to white supremacist domestic terrorists, but like ultimately it's nowhere near comparable because we will never do that.
Terrorists ever did this to us? We've never worried like this, even after 9/11.
You put it in a headline.
MAGA terrorists, Al Qaeda.
When you shove it in people's throats enough,
not Al Qaeda, white supremacists,
then they come to believe it.
January 6th is being used as a pretext to strip millions of Americans, disfavored Americans, of their core constitutional rights and to defame them as domestic terrorists.
But they are. Like, white supremacist terror is kind of at the heart of like being an American. Like, to deny that is Tucker's docu is clip chimp the movie vibe. Like, I'm sorry, like, let's be honest, white supremacist terrorists have always existed and always will continue to exist. I would go so far as to say that Tucker Carlson loves white supremacist domestic terrorists and fucking agitates them to do acts of white supremacist domestic terror. Okay? But because it's so fundamentally American that criticizing white supremacist domestic terror oftentimes is seen as a substitute for criticizing America. Because that's how profoundly American white supremacy is. That when you criticize white supremacist domestic terrorists, you're basically criticizing America. And there is truth to that. There is truth to that.
But what exactly happened on January 6th? How much of what we were told about that day is a lie?
Love that.
Darren Beatty of Revolver News is one of the few in media who's done real reporting on what actually happened on January 6th.
The establishment narrative.
Bro, this is literally Vice. Like, they took the Vice, like, font and everything. What happened, I guess? Will we ever know? There were so many secrets. It's like, what? Dude, everyone watched it. The fucking dumbasses were filming themselves. What do you mean? We not only watched it in 4K, we watched it in numerous different pixelated, phone camera recordings. They live streamed it. We didn't have to I literally live streamed the entire thing. 200,000 of you were in here also watching alongside myself.
The worst single act of political violence since the Civil War.
Donald Trump supporters killing police officers.
Was MAGA blood libel.
Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during
MAGA
the
blood libel.
attack. They beat
This is not real, by the way. This is a recreation.
a Capitol police officer to death with a fire extinguisher.
Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during a fight.
He died at the age of 42 after he was bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher.
A rioter hit Officer Sicknick in the head with a fire extinguisher.
Hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. Bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher.
There's just one problem with this story. It never happened.
The New York Times has quietly retracted its story about the death of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick.
There was no such thing. There was.
By the way, the guy that they had for this is Darren Beattie, Trump speechwriter who was sacked in 2018 for meeting white nationalists, has been rehired to oversee the U.S. Holocaust memorials. A White House speechwriter who was fired in 2018 for meeting with white nationalists has been rehired to join an agency that oversees the U.S. Holocaust memorials abroad. President Donald Trump appointed Darren Beattie to join the board of the Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage abroad on Wednesday. The White House had fired Beattie after CNN reported that he had appeared on a panel with white nationalist Peter Brimelow in 2016. I mean, who better to protect America's heritage than a dude who is hanging out with white supremacists? I don't get it. That's the only reason he knows the term blood libel? Yeah, because he was writing it, dude. He's like, blood libel. Okay, when I do it against Jewish people or America's enemies, in defense of America's heritage, of course. Blood libel bad when it's against the MAGA. It's a MAGA blood libel, which is to what? Accurately portray the events that unfolded on January 6th that literally hundreds of millions of people were able to watch in real time live. Holy fuck.
There was no fire extinguisher involved at all.
And the paper is backpedaling, admitting that it's possible he was never even hit at all.
New York Times retracted the story. They moved to a different story.
Caterers seen spraying bear spray into the face of Officer Brian Sicknick.
It was bear spray. It was bear spray that killed Officer Sicknick.
Revolver News found the video shows no spray coming out of the container. It's
What is this article, dude? Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So, first of all, I don't even know the details of this, but well, he still died. How do you think he died? Is he not dead? Are we about to find out Brian Sicknick is actually alive? I'm Tucker Carlson, and we found Brian Sicknick. He's right here.
a lie.
Sure enough, eventually.
Wait, was there... Wait. Did he infrared that after? Can you do that?
No spray coming.
Doesn't that literally have to be actual infrared cameras? You can't just fucking add infrared after a non-infrared camera literally shot the footage, right? It has to be an actual infrared camera. This is no different than just fucking doing an Instagram filter. What the fuck? Whoa. Wait, hold on. I'm so confused by this. You can't get thermal footage off of something that is not actually mapping thermal imagery. It's just if you take it with a shit camera, you can't magically enhance it, for example. You know what I mean?
coming out of the container. It's a lie.
Sure enough, eventually, the media admits Revolver.news is right.
The D.C. medical examiner today ruled that Capitol Hill police officer Brian Sicknick died of natural causes.
Officer Sicknick died of natural causes. He did not die at the hands of the...
Okay, I can't help but fucking love this, though. The idea that, like, another fucking cop just, like, died of natural causes while they were being trampled. It's like... First of all, do cops die of natural causes and then are considered like line of death deaths or line of duty deaths all the time? Okay, happens all the time. Oh, heart failure when he was chasing after a perp. It's like boom, line of death, fucking line of duty death, right? But like, I mean, he was in the middle of like being trampled. You know, that's like it's kind of a weird thing to just be like. It's just natural causes.
MAGA mom, and yet you still see in the mainstream media this reporting that it was a deadly mob.
A murderous mob.
A murderous mob.
A murderous mob. Deadly January 6th attack on the Capitol by a mob of Trump supporters.
They got the word death.
By the way, there were definitely murderous motherfuckers. Like, what the fuck? Like what? Just because they were like unable to like do the murder doesn't mean that they weren't like motivated by murderous fervor. I mean, they weren't saying we want to fucking kiss Mike Pence. They were like, yeah, we want to fucking like find Mike Pence and like, you know, beat him up.
Deadly from this false reporting on Sicknick. It was a blood libel, and again, the national security state was operationalized on the basis of that narrative.
Just as non-existent weapons of mass destruction were used to justify violence in the first war on terror, a false news story published by the New York Times became the pretext for a national crackdown.
Bro, first of all, look, I'm not even like one of these people that's like January 6th was the worst thing that ever happened in America, but like, dog, I think it's kind of fucked up that like the sitting president at the time whipped up people, his supporters, into such a frenzy that they stormed the Capitol. Like, are we just gonna act like that's the only time things are bad and fucked up is like when someone is also murdering people on top of that? Like, what the fuck? And if you want to look at like Trump supporter murders, like there were plenty white supremacists that murdered motherfuckers like under the Trump administration. There was a lot of that. So, you know, white supremacy is a little bit more complicated than the just like. Do you think they defend leftists in this way? No, because like Starbucks windows, storefronts break down, and Tucker Carlson's like, this has gone too far. BLM is the same as Al Qaeda. Why are we letting them get away with it? Like that's the Tucker Carlson rhetoric when it comes to like fucking like kicking a tear gas canister back at the cops. Is like, why are we letting them get away with these acts of terror? This is a really dangerous cloud of poison that our brave military members and our military members here domestically, the cops, had to endure when those scary black people kicked the tear gas canister back at the cops. I mean, yeah, he literally has said, Tucker Carlson calls for the government to take decisive action against terror organization Black Lives Matter.
It's immense political power, and it does have immense power. The group Black Lives Matter isn't really much of a group. It's a relatively small, flimsy organization. In fact, it doesn't really have a legal existence of its own. Officially, the primary Black Lives Matter group is simply a project of another nonprofit called Thousand Currents. Now, why is this interesting? Well, it's interesting because the current vice chair of Thousand Currents is a woman called Susan Rosenberg.
I have no idea what he's talking about. I've never even...
And she's a convicted terrorist who spent 16 years in federal prison before she was given a pardon by Bill Clinton on the very last day in office. Bernie Kerik remembers this well. He's the former police commissioner of New York City, but before that, he worked in New Jersey, and he personally escorted Susan Rosenberg from the federal courthouse in Newark in 1985. He knows the story.
Okay, I don't care about all these details about this person's background, but like So he's again justifying that Black Lives Matter is a terror organization that needs to be persecuted to the full extent of the law by pointing to Susan Rosenberg, apparently. What the fuck? I think DOJ should be looking at Black Lives Matter as a terrorist group, as a terrorist organization. And I find it astounding that all of these U.S. firms, some 200 that you have chronicled on your show. Oh, this is Bernie Kirk that's saying that. Just amazing that all these rich ladies in Aspen and Greenwich think BLM is about ending racism, which obviously all of us are for. Yeah, right. Okay, dude. When in fact, it's a revolutionary group. Maybe the U.S. government can take decisive action. And by doing that, make it really clear that this is a terror organization. Love that. BLM terror organization, but of course, you know, white supremacist domestic terrorist, not a terror organization.
Ali Alexander organized the January 6th rally.
After 9/11, I spent my early adulthood growing up in a post-9/11 world with an Arab name.
It's open season on hate towards Muslims.
I mean, you also look Arab too, bro. Like, I know you think you don't, is like, you know, you're surrounded by white supremacists that you work for, but like, it's not just your Arab name that kind of gives it away. I know you got the Habsburg job, but nobody's looking at you like, wow, that's like royal inbreeding right there. You know what I mean? They're not thinking you're white. As an InfoWars guy, by the way, holy fuck. I hate him so much. Jesus Christ. He's such a fucking lame-o.
Muslims and Islam.
At one point in 2012, had to have a member of Congress call the FBI to get me removed from a watch list. And now, in this post-1/6 world, I'm on a list yet again because I've been deemed a minority in dissent.
We are now hearing from the man who organized last week's rally that turned into
Bro, they put him on the watches because he's ugly, dude. That's why.
a deadly insurrection.
I know what it's like to grow up in America and post-9/11 as Arab, and I know what it's like to grow up post-January 6th as a Trump supporter who demanded election integrity.
Dude, I can't. I was just demanding election integrity, dude. You know, when we were storming the Capitol, we were doing that to demand election integrity. It's so fucked up. That's awesome.
Ali Alexander was trying to build a movement of people until it was a rhetorical gun cocked and pointed at Congress.
The vanguard of delusion of anti-democratic, attempt at a putsch that represented by Stop the Steal.
My life has been torn apart. I regularly receive violent death threats. It has prevented me from returning to my work. I lost all of my social media and any ability to engage in commerce online.
Aaron, remember, the Department of Justice says not only is it investigating what happened inside the Capitol, but the conspirators and instigators who may have started this whole thing.
The Biden administration has put Ali Alexander under surveillance as a potential instigator and conspirator in the so-called white supremacist insurrection.
I've been told that I'm a white nationalist. Me. I've been told that Stop the Steal was a movement of white supremacy. Stop the Steal was the most law-abiding movement that this country has seen in modern times.
Christ is king!
None of the Stop the Steal rallies have ever had a police report or an instance of violence. None of them. Over 500 rallies, and I think that that's why we had Republicans and Democrats supporting us.
It was rigged. What can I tell you? That is not a conspiracy.
There's a lot of Bernie.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, totally. Democrats are all about fucking, leftists, Democrats, liberals. They were all about storming the White House, actually. The news was a metaphor for Democrats strangling our elections. I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my God, I can't believe they put the fucking gallows up. Like, they're so violent, okay? I'm not one of those people at all. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, the gallows is a powerful imagery, okay, about like fucking, saying, listen, if you're a fucking elite and if you're in a position of power, like, we're coming for you if you don't fucking act right. Having said that, though, like, there is so much more violent shit that there's so much more violent shit that has happened in the Trump movement And this is just the understandable culmination of like the final logical step of the conservative movement when it comes down to the actions they took. It's like, yeah, of course. Like, what do you think is going to happen if you don't act right though, you elite? Yeah, you're fucking idiot, dude. Sorry. Like comparing a Twitch streamer to like literally a fucking politician that's like, yeah, I don't think your parents deserve to have fucking dental care. You are the reason why we all suffer. I'm just letting you know. Anyway. Yeah. So where was I? Sorry, I'm not getting stun locked. I totally forgot what I was saying. Fuck.
Voters who believe strongly, progressive voters who believe that their elections are also rigged in the primary. And what it proved was that we were a bipartisan movement that had a spectrum of beliefs, but we all kind of centered around one thing, and that's that our bureaucrats, these are non-elected officials, should count.
You know what's funny about the fucking Bernie Sanders, like the election was stolen from Bernie Sanders or whatever kind of takes, and the comparisons that people make to like, you know, the January 6th insurrection and stuff like that. Or not January 6th insurrection, sorry. About how the election was stolen from Donald Trump. The way that the Democrats, like in the primaries, game the system, and very openly so, is quite similar to the way Republicans try to steal elections, okay? And actively so. It's just the more conservative party, the more conservative, and I don't mean party with like a fucking capital P, I mean with a party as in like the organizing body, is using undemocratic methods to go against the interests of the people in a lot of instances. And that's precisely at the heart of how like Republicans steal elections all the time when they say they're stealing elections. So when they fucking turn around and make the comparison to like Bernie Sanders, it's so laughable because like it is media manipulation, and it is a system that completely goes against the democratic interest. That's how you do it. It's not like fucking there was electoral fraud in the sense that like there were fake votes being cast for, you know, Hillary Clinton or some shit, you know? X-Spin? What the fuck? What are these fucking emotes, man?
Transparently.
I'm just really excited about the 5th. I'm really excited about the 6th. Don't forget to tweet out marchtosaveamerica.com.
We listened to never before.
Wait, he's just like, I don't get it. I mean, he's literally, is this a self-report? He's like, yeah, I was like super involved in the January 6th insurrection.
Aired tape of a January 6th planning session that took place between Ali Alexander and several members of Congress. There was no talk of insurrection, nothing even close.
Wait, what? Wait. Tucker accidentally implicating members of Congress?
I made a very executive decision that we were going to descend on D.C. On the 6th.
And we have several members of Congress on this call, and state legislators.
I consulted members of Congress. They felt like this would add pressure to make sure that our voices were counted. You know, we knew it was a losing fight, but we still believe in miracles. And we wanted to know, well, who are the Republicans who need to be primaried and who doesn't?
So the Republican Party, I just want them to hear this message. Look at this crowd. We are the people that you must represent.
That's one of them good ones, brother. Oh my God, look at all these small business owners, dude. Look at this. Oh, yeah.
Or we're going to replace you with patriots.
And so that's what January the 6th was all about. It was just about making sure that if you called yourself a conservative, that you stood with the conservative movement. And unfortunately, it spiraled out of control. We coordinated with the U.S. Capitol Police nearly every day. A lot of people don't know that Stop the Steal actually had a permit on the Capitol grounds. So not the Capitol itself and not the Capitol Plaza, the Capitol grounds, Lot 8. We had a permit. So let's just imagine this. 20 to 50,000 people inside the President's Park. We're sitting there at the very front. I'm dead center of the president, front row. A Trump campaign staffer walks up to me and says, you know, Ali, there are people leaving the overflow. And there are already tens of thousands of people at the U.S. Capitol. With your presence and the presence of Alex Jones.
Oh, it's gonna. I really do hope they go to jail because it's pretty funny, just for the memes. You know what I mean?
Why don't you guys walk down Pennsylvania, gather people together,
We're coming, swamp creatures!
and then position them for your rally?
They didn't have to put that in, dude. Like, what the fuck? How are they gonna sell? How is this gonna turn around into being like, well, in the events that took place actually are completely outside of our control and we're not responsible for it, and also it wasn't that bad? Like, how the fuck do you salvage this? Is he building a case to send this dude to jail? I'm so confused.
Rally on Lot 8. I wasn't at the Capitol when it descended into chaos. And that's only by God's grace, because I was scheduled to be there. Secret Service let us out at a point where we would have been there when the first punch was thrown. And that's strange. The only reason that we weren't there is because we stopped and gave an impromptu speech.
We're building America up! We're here to take our rightful country back peacefully!
I get a text from the campaign that you should get there and de-escalate because things are not going well. So we...
Wait, why are they showing all this? Wait, I'm so confused, dude. I mean, they're... Wait, hold on. Wait, why are they showing this? Is Tucker Carlson like building a case to prosecute these guys? What the fuck's going on, dude? They're like, yeah, we wanted to protest peacefully. It's like punching a cop in the fucking face.
Started to approach the side of the Capitol where no protests had happened in November, no protests had happened in December. All I thought was, I need to get them to the other side, and I need to get them to Lot 8.
Let's march around to the other side!
And all we are equipped with are megaphones.
And let's not fight the police and give the system what they want!
Maybe 1,000 people are listening to us.
Come off the stands!
Out of 75 to 100,000 people there in front of us. And it was a very helpless feeling.
Wait, why? I'm so confused. Like, didn't they just like kind of start this off by being like, it wasn't like that big of a deal? And then they're like, and also it got out of control and people were just fucking up cops. Despite the fact that like they coordinated with the cops and cops basically opened the fucking floodgates and they were still fucking up cops.
We need to not have the confrontation with the police. They're going to make that the story.
Yeah, I wonder why, dude. Dude, where is this going? I want to know. Okay, this is exciting. There's a bloody woman from 9/11 coming up.
Within seconds of the planes hitting the Twin Towers on 9/11, we had a lead suspect.
Some of the key suspects.
Hold on. Wait. Oh, 44. Okay, it's done.
Come to mind, Osama bin Laden.
2 suspects are in custody this evening in the bombing of Oklahoma City's Murrah Federal Building.
Within 48 hours of the Oklahoma City bombing, Timothy McVeigh had been arrested. Yet it's been the better part of a year since January 6th, and the masterminds behind this supposed insurrection have never been found. If
supposed insurrection? Dog, you have one of him on your fucking... You literally have him! You're talking to one of the organizers. You just showed him. He's just said what he did. He didn't even try to like vindicate him. He didn't even try, like, they're not even doing... Am I missing? Like, I feel like I'm missing a bone in my fucking brain to like be able to see the messaging here that Tucker Carlson and other racists have. You know what I mean? Like, what level of cognitive dissonance are we at? Like, you're missing conservatives. Oklahoma bombing doesn't count. Dude wasn't even brown. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? I literally do not understand. He's like, where are these guys that, that unfolded these events? We never found the masterminds. I mean, you did. And he literally fucking openly admitted it. So, I mean, one of many. But I don't understand how you are. This is what he just said. We're all trying to find. Yeah, exactly. We're all trying to find the guy who did this. More like domestic heroism, brother. That's right.
If Ali Alexander and Stop the Steal didn't conspire to provoke violence on that day, then who did?
What do you mean, who did? All the people that were there. Why wouldn't they? If you keep fucking telling them over and over again that there's like psychotic pedophile vampires in the fucking White House on a regular basis that's like stealing elections, it's no different than the guy who talked to fucking Charlie Kirk, who was like, when do we start killing these fucking libtards, bro? Like, that's it. You conditioned them to do this. And then when they did it, you're like, how did this happen? That's crazy. I guess it's like, again, it goes back to like the hyper individualistic mentality where it's like one man was motivating everybody to do this. It's like, and that man is never like the guy who's like, we need to, take the swamp monsters out of the swamp. Well, I found this video of Ali Alexander that went kind of viral.
So I want to let you guys know how we're responding because I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Mo Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. We four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting so that who we couldn't lobby, we could change the hearts and the minds of Republicans who were in that body hearing our loud war from outside. So I'm going to tell you this. This is my commitment to you. Any hotel that shuts down, me and my team at stopthesteal.us will find rooms for those people. Period. If me and my hotel that shuts down, me and my team at stopthesteal.us will find rooms for those people. Period. If you trusting.
I don't. Wait, but like he's admitting it. So what the fuck? I don't understand. What else do we need to know? They're saying because he wasn't physically at the Capitol, then they started storming the grounds, that they weren't a part of it. I mean, these pussies never actually fucking sit in the front. You know what I mean? The whole purpose is like they get everybody agitated, they get everybody riled up, and then the dumbass foot soldiers are the ones who fucking go into action. Like, that's the... It's just like you got to look at the organizers at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Osama bin Laden wasn't on the fucking plane. I mean, not that this is like a comparison to 9/11, but like, oh, well, sorry, he didn't have the box cutters. So is he really all that? Is it really his fault? I mean, they were just, maybe these guys were just like flight enthusiasts that decided to operate in the way that they want to. I just don't get it. I feel like they're... what happened here? Like, why is Tucker Carlson... Is Tucker Carlson throwing this this brave brown man under the bus? Is that what's going on? Because it feels kind of sussy.
Is it possible that the real conspirators were hidden in the crowd of middle-aged Trump voters? Journalist Elijah Schaefer was at the scene on January 6th.
The election was totally fraudulent, as we all knew. 100% it was stolen.
And these congressmen and senators are going to see
We mean business.
January 6th was just, mom and dad who were mad about what they saw to be an election that they thought was unfair, rigged, fortified, stolen. It doesn't matter what you say it is. They were just angry, and a lot of them just got caught.
Oh my God. Oh my God. The argument is that these guys aren't real MAGA Trump supporters. They're actually fucking, it was Antifa. Oh my God. This documentary is I'm going to come. It's going to make me nut. So all the fucking moms and dads, they just like, they were there, but to peacefully protest, and it was the Antifa that did all the violent shit. Oh, it's so good. Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Caught up in the front lines of chaos.
Oh my gosh, we just got tear gassed in the middle of a prayer. Are you kidding me?
They thought that rioting was like a game, maybe.
Washington, D.C., this is happening near the White House. A protest started getting out of control.
During 2020, rioters caused about $3 billion worth of damage and killed about 24 people over the course of 8 months.
This is David Dorn in his very last moments on Earth. He's a former police captain protecting a store.
I happen to believe that...
Holy shit, they just straight up show David Dorn. Dude, they just do not give a fuck about, like, showing dead black people. Holy fuck. Hold on. There's more David Dorn coming up in a second.
A lot of the ways they treated rioters that were left-wing.
Kamala Harris was working to help the instigators, the criminals, get out of jail.
Giving the narrative that there's no consequences for acts of violence, even on federal grounds. Cases being dropped from the federal siege in Portland by leftist rioters. I believe that was part of setting a narrative to gaslight the right wing into thinking that they could riot too and get away with it.
Oh my God. Dude, these guys are awesome, dude. No way, dude. He just said, what the fuck? Oh, they got us. They fucking got us. We got duped. We're so stupid. We saw like, left-wing protesters get away with it. So we just like thought we could do it as well. Gaslight was correctly used in that situation, for the record. I know that like we were on that fucking David Rubin tip earlier. That was a correctly used gaslight moment. But the left wing made us do it. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. That's brilliant. Listen, congratulations. This is like reading that Breitbart article that tried to use like reactionaries, horniness to fucking own the libs to get them to get vaccinated. This is the Antifa, or this is the January 6th version of that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, we just thought we could do a little bit of fucking rioting too. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at all those BLM riots. Like, motherfucker, most of those situations got out of hand because cops started caving the people's skulls. Okay. It started off peaceful. Cops started caving people's skulls. In your situation, they opened the fucking doors for you and you still trampled on them. Okay. Oh, the party of personal responsibility. Yep. Strikes again, dude. Why can't we do a little bit of rioting too, brother? What the fuck? This is all over the place, dude. This is all over the place, dude. They got they got way better treatment than the fucking BLM protesters did. Let's be real. What the fuck? Woo! This is good. This is good shit. This is inject this directly into my fucking veins, dude.
The mainstream media pretended that they were not directly agitating the Capitol riots.
This is mostly a
They made us do it. They made us do it. We're not. We're just like, we're animals. We're fucking hogs, brother. What do you think was going to happen? Okay, so CNN made them do the Capitol insurrection, but not Donald Trump. Conservatives, okay? Conservatives were mind controlled by CNN into doing the Capitol insurrection, but like those very same malleable minds that were so easily persuaded, nay, coerced by Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon. Those minds, of course, were not listening to Donald Trump when Donald Trump was like, yeah, we got to do something. These guys, they're all fucking swamp monsters. Or when Alex Jones was like, they're all psychopathic pedophiles, brother. Like the night before, we need to fucking storm the Capitol and let them know our reign and our anger. Like those words did not matter. The words of Anderson Cooper being like, I don't fucking know that, it's top of the hour and it's time for a 60-second ad break. Like, that's what made them fucking storm the White House. You know what I mean? Like, Anderson Cooper saying that you can avoid the ad break at the top of the hour as long as you subscribe to the Hasanabi broadcast for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Like, saying that was what it caused people to be agitated. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right. I just fucking segued you into oblivion. You're in the sunken place now. You've lost all control over your bodily functions. You're fucking spitting, pissing, shitting, and farting because you now are in the ad space. Now, you don't have to be in the ad zone, though. You can avoid that. You can have an ad-free broadcasting experience. You can subscribe for $5. You can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. Okay? That's how you get out of the ad space. But ad space is coming regardless. Somehow the left can dupe millions of people and gaslight everyone into playing 1,000 dimension chess. And in reality, we can't even fucking pass the infrastructure bill that everybody wants. Exactly. Exactly. Or I can just pop out my screen and don't have to watch the ad. I mean, you can do that as well. Is that a way to fucking avoid the ads? Then definitely do it. Anyway. Where are we at? 1443.
Protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings.
Can I speak to Pelosi? Yeah, we're coming, bitch.
Why did they show that? Like, that's what I'm saying. Why did they just show? You don't have to show that. That hurts your cause. Like, even in this situation, they can't help but like flex a little bit. Like, yeah, we fucking did that shit, bitch. That's right. You know what I mean? Are they showing him because they want to be like, that's a libtard? Or are they showing him because like CNN made him do it? 2-minute ad? No, I ran a 1-minute ad. I feel like it's like a kid. Like they can't help themselves. Like they have to fucking show the shit that they did. They're like, come on, it was pretty good, right? Remember when we did that shit? Like, that was fucking tight. Come on. That was fucking sick, dude. Nancy Pelosi, we're coming for you, bitch.
Uprisings.
Can I speak to Pelosi? Yeah, we're coming, bitch.
Like, he's wearing a camo MAGA hat, dog. What the fuck? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that seems like a guy who was gaslit by CNN into doing that, I think. I don't think you understand the point of this video. It's to show the truth, not what you want it to be. Okay. If you, let's say you're an enlightened centrist and an intellectual of the highest magnitude here. If you don't think that Tucker Carlson is like a biased smear merchant and is like operating to do as much propaganda as physically humanly possible, I don't know what to tell you. I think you're lost, brother. Like I'm biased. I openly admit my biases, but like, you know, we all saw what happened on January 6th. So kind of weird that they have like an additional underlying narrative that like what happened on January 6th wasn't all that bad, but then we're still going to show what exactly happened, which was kind of fucked up and really bad. Like the video's overall narrative is not looking too great with like the actual facts that they keep presenting. They're not doing a very good job with like massaging the narrative if you're going to keep showing like uninterrupted footage of hogs being hog-like. Anyway. Just keep going.
It's no wonder people are taken to the streets, and I support them.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
The Boston Tea Party, rioting. Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before.
Oh, they're saying that because like CNN was saying that Black Lives Matter protested and that was like honorable and just, and protest is not supposed to be fucking peaceful. that conservatives who only watch CNN, famously, they literally only watch CNN, and that's why they were like, "Oh yeah, they're talking about me, brother. We get to do a little bit too." I love that. That's a good narrative. It's solid.
And this is so
It
terrible,
tracks.
and where are we and these savages and all of that.
If you see anybody from that cabinet, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protesters.
Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest.
Peaceful.
By the way, they're showing, like, wait, hold on. I got to show you this image. So this is a gallows of like someone. It's like Donald Trump. I think it's like a figure of Donald Trump being like mock execution by a guillotine. I've never even seen this one. I love when conservatives find like all this shit. It's sick. So they're saying that CNN was considering all the things that they did to be a peaceful protest. So like, basically, they're doing what conservatives do, right? Or this is the best conservative argument that you can always get to, which is what Democrats were doing was bad, so we can do it too. Okay, but the action is still bad, I guess. But like, no, not when we do it. Okay, that's literally what the argument is. Owned and blown away into smithereens by your mom teaching you a fundamental truth when you're younger, which is two wrongs don't make a right. Okay? But conservatives, for some reason, I guess, like, are suffering from fatherlessness and motherlessness or whatever the fuck. They haven't gotten that lesson when they were like fucking 8 years old. So that's basically what they're doing. Gesturing at imagined hypocrisy is the only argument conservatives have. Yeah, it's like, it's great. Also, Black Lives Matter was not like a strategically organized, executed action that was like wholeheartedly backed and agitated by the fucking sitting president in the same way that, like, you know, a grassroots protest against police brutality that happened all around the fucking planet. Not even just in like Minneapolis, but like not even just the entirety of America, but like literally the entire fucking planet. Okay? Is the same as like a coordinated, calculated attack on the Capitol led by literal sitting fucking Republicans. Protesting by cutting your head off? No, that's not a real thing. This is like, they had gallows and fucking guillotines at the January 6th insurrection as well. This is literally that. They're showing like Donald Trump, like a fake Donald Trump under a guillotine, okay?
Peaceful protesters. Too many see the protests.
How come you didn't reply to XQC yesterday? He needed your backpack? That's not even true. He needed my backpack. He never told me that. If he wanted my backpack, I would have given him my backpack.
As the problem. No, the problem is what forced your fellow citizens to
parasocial juicers
take to the streets.
The media and Democratic Party leaders created the environment that made the January 6th violence all but inevitable. But were there other agitators there that day?
All but inevitable. So actually, a group of like MAGA hogs that got fucking whipped up into a frenzy by Republican media, including Tucker Carlson, who regularly agitated against this, totally believing like hook, line, and sinker in a false narrative. Like all of those guys, they actually did this because CNN told them it was okay to riot. And also, they actually did this because there were secret agitators in the crowd. Got it. That's crazy. Bezos dressed up as you for Halloween. Okay, dude. That's come on, dude. This is not fake, believe me. Yeah, Bezos dressing up as his most productive content creator. It was Antifa, but it was also a honeypot, but it was also Justify like the Boston Tea Party, but it also wasn't illegal, but also they made us believe it was legal. Can you believe this Elijah guy's 2 years younger than you? Are you serious? Conservatism is not good for your skin. Holy fuck.
It makes you wonder about agitators. And I've seen agitators all over the country. And this is not exclusive to right-wing riots or to, January 6th. There's sometimes people that look like maybe they're professionals. Maybe they're there just to cause trouble. I don't know.
Someone who...
I mean, he's right. There is such a thing. This is like a provocateur, an Asian provocateur. I've talked about this in the beginning of the BLM protests as well, where that guy went into fucking Jiffy Lube and like started breaking shit. Do you guys remember? Like, and I was like, that looks like a fucking Asian provocateur. And at the time, people were like, oh, dude, you're fucking wrong. I've never actually heard that word before, but like, I'm also going to assume that you're wrong. And yada yada. And it turned out he was the umbrella guy, famously, was an Asian provocateur. The difference there, though, is that, like, those guys were all fucking, it wasn't like a singular incident. When there's like an Asian provocateur situation, or when cops like put bait cop cars that are like decommissioned in the middle of the street to like get people to fuck it up or whatever and rile them up, it's oftentimes a singular incident because, tensions run high. Okay, tensions run high in a situation like that, but ultimately it's still a decentralized protest where there are people coming from all walks of life and all different kinds of fucking attitudes and opinions on how to protest, what they're fucking protesting for, that are getting together and doing this shit. In this situation, you got motherfuckers like openly flying to the Capitol to do this. Okay? And they're all fucking storming the White House.
You might know is security analyst J. Michael Waller. For years, Waller worked as a professional agitator.
I'm a senior analyst for strategy at the Center for Security Policy, and my area of specialization has been political warfare, psychological warfare, and subversion. During the Cold War, I infiltrated Soviet International Front organizations for the purpose of causing provocations that would discredit the Soviets. And so we actually managed to provoke a fight to break out at the World Peace Council conference that the Soviets had been sponsoring in Europe. We had a huge...
Look at how fucking happy this piece of shit is, dude. Oh, God, I fucking hate... Oh, my God. But, yo, when I say it, it's like, oh, it's the conspiracy. The American government never did that. Big deal. We do that to Hasan every day. I know. They don't need to do that anymore because, like, it's stuck. Reactionary propaganda is so good that it like destroys any fucking kind of class solidarity, any sort of fucking, any sort of like positivity amongst the working class anyway. People are fucking eating themselves alive. Thank you, anarchists. I was just kidding. It's not just anarchists. There's plenty of fucking dipshits. There's plenty of dipshit Marxist-Leninists too.
Banner about the Soviets and the communists, destroying the world and being the world's greatest threat to peace. And then a fight broke out there. And then that was all captured on TV because the Soviets had organized the world media.
The thing is, here's the problem. Okay. Are you ready for this? You can say agitators, yada, yada, all you fucking want. But ultimately, you know what was the biggest problem for January 6th? The sense of entitlement that a lot of these fucking hogs have. Remember, when I was covering it on that day, I was like fucking in a sense of disbelief that like they were so openly doing this shit without even hiding their fucking faces. And that sense of entitlement is precisely the reason why people were openly fucking getting bus tickets and organizing. Charlie Kirk organized bus rides to the Capitol too. And that's precisely the reason why they fucking filmed themselves doing all this shit and taking photos, because they thought there would be no consequences for it because of the profound amount of privilege that they have, where they were like, yeah, of course, this is America. This is my country. I'm doing what I should be doing. Okay? So you can fucking spin around as much as you want and be like, oh, well, there's Antifa. Oh, it was CNN. Ultimately, just ask the fucking people. They openly stated what they were doing on that day and what they were interested in doing on that day, which is why trying to spin this is so fucking hard. It's such a foolhardy endeavor, but, you know, shouts out to fucking Tucker for still trying his best. You know what I mean? Good job. But, like, they openly admitted that. They openly fucking admitted that they were there to do a particular thing and they were interested in doing that particular thing, and they filmed themselves doing that particular thing. So you can fucking cry about it all you want and say, oh, well, fucking, you know, BLM got to do it. Why can't we? Or whatever the fuck. And CNN actually made this. You know, CNN actually made this. It's like, no, motherfucker, you're there. Like, you were literally on camera. You can't just be like, Antifa did this. You did it because you were on camera doing it. And at the time, you didn't think that you could get caught or you would ever see the consequences of what you were doing.
To cover this event. So we had the headline in the Boston Globe, fight breaks out at World Peace Conference. January 6th was a political warfare operation. Having been trained by professional agitators in the past, I saw that this is a coordinated effort, that there are different cadres of agents provocateurs and other troublemakers who had a sort of a military-like precision in what was to become a storming of the Capitol building. You could start seeing different units of agents provocateurs. They were assembled right here.
Bro, this is literally... Okay. Bro, honestly... I love this. It's so... First of all, this is literally Alex Jones level. Okay? Secondly, I love that he's like, we did this. Like, the American State Department openly did this. So maybe they're so maybe they were doing it to us too now. Like, that's again, that very same fucking white privilege just reeking through this fucking, the rhetoric of this documentary where it's like, yeah, we did this. Of course we did this to fucking commies. Just like in the beginning, he was like, of course we did this shit to the fucking Iraqis. Like, obviously, duh, they deserve it. So now I feel like maybe they're doing it to us. Yeah, there isn't evidence, but like, maybe they're doing it to us. You know? Awesome. Ugh. This is spinning out into the January 6th cinematic universe.
Here on the Statue of Peace, and they were assembled in various places on this walkway, goading members of the crowd trying to cause trouble.
It's time for revolution!
One of those agitators was a full-time left-wing activist called John Sullivan.
John Sullivan, I mean, what he does best is agitate. He causes problems, and that's what he's known for on the left and the right. I mean, he is the person that organizes all of these events and riots in Utah with his group Insurgents USA.
Journalist Taylor Hasan was also at the Capitol on January 6th. While living in Utah, he was attacked by members of John Sullivan's group.
And it was, you know, right shortly after George Floyd died. I was riding my motor.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. I think there's TOS here, but
motorcycle downtown. You know, for some reason there was just this huge car rally, and I had no idea what it was. You know, I had to weave in back and forth between these cars, and I ended up pulling over, and that's when I actually first encountered John Sullivan and his group Insurgents USA. And Antifa attacked me, ruining my bike, and basically just, I mean, I actually had a gun pointed to my head at that rally specifically, and that was from John Sullivan.
I don't believe that at all, dude. Oh, that's fucking hilarious, dude. They CRT'd his face. I'm from Utah, and during the protest, there were more than enough ways to get away from the riot. They broke his bike. Okay, so John Sullivan has been proven as a right-wing op. So they even admitted that. So what the fuck? Like, activist John. Fact check. Misleading claim about Antifa member at January 6th Capitol riot. A claim a known Antifa member was paid $70,000 for this video. Okay. Cue a widely shared meme on Facebook. The office is Jim Halpert. This is a known Antifa member who was paid $70,000 for his Capitol riot video. Reads text in the photo, which shows Halpert played by actor John Krasinski, pointing to a whiteboard. The FBI says they have no proof of Antifa members dressed as some Trump supporters. The meme posted by a Facebook page called Happy Hayride has more than 600 shares. Who cares? That's 600 shares. Well, now Tucker Carlson is going along with that meme. So what happened? Sullivan was paid but not affiliated with Antifa. So he is a fucking agent provocateur. He's also, even in this fucking video, they mentioned that he is literally an agent provocateur for the right as well. News organizations paid Sullivan tens of thousands of dollars for his footage from the Capitol riot, but he's denied any affiliation with Antifa, and federal charging documents do not suggest he's linked to the movement. Court filings show U.S. authorities ordered Sullivan to forfeit about $90,000 he made from selling the footage he took in and around the Capitol building. His video captured the death of Babbitt, a military veteran from California. That total included $35,000. Both the CNN and NBC paid Sullivan's group Insurgents USA, an advocacy organization that protests police brutality, for the rights to his footage, according to invoices filed by Sullivan's attorney. But Sullivan is not a known Antifa member, as the Facebook post claims. Court papers in his criminal case do not mention him being affiliated with any anti-fascist groups. Sullivan told the FBI he was an activist and a journalist, despite the fact that he had no press credentials. This dude seems sussy as fuck, dude. Okay? This dude seems like an op. There's a problem here in Salt Lake for a long time. Left have kicked him out for being a crazy. Based on our research. So yeah, he's like one of those like Andy No type of fucking dudes, but on the left, I guess, functionally. He's just like a fucking classic both sides opportunist. There's so many of these motherfuckers now. It's so annoying. What is this? Greenwald explicitly uses Hasan as an example of someone who profited off of constant Trump agitprop, anti-Trump agitprop, and then immediately resorts to petulantly gaslighting his own followers who point out that this is wrong, lol. Those in the center left. This is incredibly unfair to Hasan. I enjoy his Twitch streams and he actually educates his audience. As someone from a decidedly not socialist left or otherwise reflexively anti-Trump or a Dembot, he's legitimately entertaining. I didn't insult him. I just used him as an example of people who can become very rich by being a left media figure. The idea that you have to become popular on the right because that's the only way to make money, or even the easiest, is false, and he's the example proving that. It's not an insult to him. He's an example disproving the claim that in order to get rich in the media, you have to move right. Hasan isn't just an anti-Trump dude. He dunks on AOC and others on the left that fuck up all the time. This isn't a great take. If you're upset he bought a house, that's a right-wing talking point you're using to criticize him. Do Hasan's fans see anything that looks even remotely like criticism of him and get filled to the rage to the point that they can't think logically? I wasn't criticizing him, just using him as one of the countless examples showing you can get rich in media without moving right. I mean, even then I'm like kind of the exception that proves the rule. I mean, that doesn't prove the rule, obviously. The New York Times investigation basically debunks this entire thing. Yeah, we watched this before the Day of Rage, I think, when it first came out. I mean, he said I was a charlatan, didn't he? Didn't he literally say I was like a... It saved Chris Hayes' job and made him millions. It turned tons of unknown charlatans into rich social media stars. Like, I feel like maybe he wasn't calling me an unknown charlatan. Anyway. You're the last, and I mean, I guess, yeah. They're trying to define lines that don't exist. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Getting back to this, so they're pointing to like some fucking random like grifter dude who tries to make money off of like these sorts of protests and shit like that, and saying he's like a known Antifa guy. But remember, that dude wasn't the only known Antifa guy that was there. They literally even went as far as to claim that the fucking QAnon shaman was an Antifa guy.
Sullivan's Insurgents USA group. He knows his stuff, and he knows how to, you know, start something in a crowd, or, you know, to almost talk somebody into initiating violence for him on his behalf.
The FBI affidavit.
Okay, once again, if a random guy who is supposedly Antifa, if a random fucking dude like this is able to whip people up in a frenzy, then don't you think countless hours dedicated to this sort of coverage by Fox News and Donald Trump himself would also whip people up into a fucking frenzy? Who brought those people together? If they are, again, so malleable, so open to coercion, so open to persuasion like this, then don't you think that, like, I don't know, Trump was fucking doing that too? A lot more than fucking what one random grifter was doing?
David says he's on video egging on protesters at the Capitol. He said things like, "We're about to burn this down and we ain't waiting until the next election."
I saw multiple agitators changing clothes. You know, they had huge backpacks. They'd have someone guarding the corner as they'd go and change clothes. In the initial phase, it was changing from black bloc into Trump gear.
Get the fuck, this is insanity, dude. What the fuck? There are literal oath keepers and Proud Boys who are like, yeah, brother, like communicating with one another to be like, we're storming, right? Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, your dad is invested in this, okay? I'm sorry to say this, but your fucking grandfather and your parents are going to watch this shit and be like, that's right. I knew it all along. It was Antifa. It was Black Bloc. They're just making shit up. That's insanity. Oh, that's awesome. That's fucking dope. At this point, it literally doesn't matter because we've gone beyond like the need to find truth in media or anything like that. It's just like, as long as what I'm watching, okay, makes me feel good about my side in this cause. Even if the people that I'm watching directly in front of my eyes are like, I love Donald Trump. I have every, MAGA gear on the planet, all the way down to the fucking Donald Trump underwear. And you see that and you're like, well, that guy's doing the right thing. And then all of a sudden, when the narrative shifts and you're like, okay, maybe it wasn't the right thing. He must be Antifa. Like, I know motherfuckers that were there. Okay. Like, I know people who are related to people that literally went to the fucking Capitol. Okay. And even they think it was Antifa. It's like, bitch, you were there. The fuck? This guy was there. He was literally inside. And he's like, yeah, it was Antifa, I think. The fuck do you mean, dude? People will be like, that's your brother. Okay? Isn't it this guy's brother is a fucking a Proud Boy or something? What the fuck's this dude's name? What the fuck is this dude's name, chat? I'm forgetting. I can't wait to hear my dad casually slip his bullshit into the conversation. It's fucking wild, dude. Like, Taylor Hanson. I can't find it. Hold on. It's going to be a fun topic to discuss on Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know. If the right hates Antifa, does that make him pro-fa? Yes. He's not the Freedom Phone dude. No. No, this is a different guy. My town's road commissioner was literally there and bragged about going inside Facebook, and he's still like, it was Antifa. Like, yeah, bitch, you fucking did it. You stormed the Capitol. What do you mean? The fuck do you mean that, like, it's Antifa, dude?
started attacking the police.
The police were completely overrun. And in fact, it wasn't the police who kept the Trump supporters back. It was Trump supporters keeping other people that were allegedly a part of their group back.
We are not that type of people. That is not us.
And that's when it just got weird.
Bro, it's like, I love this, dude. I mean, you can, first of all, you can point that to like literally every single BLM protest. There's always people that are like keeping the rest of the fucking line in check and being like, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Cops are going to beat our asses. The only difference is cops didn't really beat their asses in this situation, whereas the BLM protesters always got their asses beat. But ultimately, like, the overall actions that took place here completely negate the one guy who was like, don't do that. And if there's someone who's like, I don't know, dedicated enough, I'm sure that they could even find that very same fucking dude later fucking punching doors in. You know what I mean? Cops took selfies with the protesters. Yeah, literally. I know. I remember. I was there.
It got weird because things got more peaceful, and people began to settle down. Police officers began to fire impact munitions down at.
Wait a minute. What? Are you saying that cops have a tendency to escalate? What? You were there? I mean, we were all there in the same way. I was fucking sitting at home watching it, but you know what I mean. What? Hold on.
They're firing these tear gas grenades into the crowd of people who
No
weren't doing anything.
way.
And it riled up the crowd, and then they started fighting and pushing forward, and I'm going,
wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. No, they're not. No way. Wait, shut the fuck up. They didn't just say that, like, cops were the ones who were the escalating source here. Oh my God. I mean, they're not wrong. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. They're not wrong, by the way. No way, dude.
a situation that just got de-escalated, why would you want to escalate?
Okay, that's bullshit, by the way. Like, the situation just got de-escalated. At this stage, they've already broken through, and they're literally climbing the fucking walls and the scaffolding. Like, the video is not showing the point you're trying to make. Okay? The video is literally failing to show the point you're trying to make. Oh, the situation was de-escalated. It's like, well, the motherfuckers are on the scaffolding. So I don't think so. If anything, they took way too fucking long to start tear gassing motherfuckers.
They're gonna kill somebody.
And that's when another Capitol Police officer, a bike patrol cop, came over and actually pushed a man off a wall, which I also witnessed.
A cop in blue and black pushed him both hands on the back. They're right there with it.
It made the crowd angry enough to actually push up the stairs. I mean, I walked right into the building. Both windows on the left and the right, they were already broken. And I just kind of walked right in through the front door.
Fucking hey, man.
Saying that the January 6th
There's a cop literally following him, dude. The cops were really violent towards us. They hurt our feelings. Meanwhile, this guy's like walking into the fucking Senate floor or whatever, and he's like, it's just a cop following him behind.
The Capitol was worse than the 9/11 attack to kill thousands of people. Is just really irresponsible talk.
Any chance I could get you guys to leave the Senate wing?
We will. I've been making sure they ain't disrespecting the place.
Okay, just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place.
This was the case of
God, dude, dude, come on. Can you imagine? Can you imagine BLM fucking storming the Capitol and cops being like, Excuse me, please. Could you please, like, this is the most sacredest place, dude. What the fuck? Oh my God. They're showing footage that paints a worse picture than what you'd see from the surface. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that. Oh God. Remember, in the beginning of COVID, I started to realize that, like, for conservatives, it's just like, as long as you signal that you're on the right side, facts literally don't matter. Because remember how Donald Trump used to say, like, in the beginning, or in, like, the fucking, you know, the apex of COVID, like, when it was peaking, Donald Trump would be like, Obama with swine flu. Obama fucked up swine flu. It's like, yeah, 14,000 people died in America from swine flu. At that stage, it was literally like 100,000 people had died from COVID. So, like, we're supposed to bring that up, and then you're supposed to say, well, that's actually a false equivalence because swine flu is not as, like, bad as COVID. But he was, you know, using the false equivalence to his favor. You know what I mean? Like, because at a certain point, facts don't matter as long as you're, facts don't matter as long as you are, you know, on board with the cause, right? And that's what this is as well. They're just, like, showing all this, like, really horrible shit while simultaneously being like, it wasn't that horrible or whatever, because it's their side. So they're only trained to hear what the fuck's coming out of their mouth, and they don't see this as, like, a bad thing.
Of a legal protest.
They are trying to burn down our capital, and I did not come here for that shit.
Hijacked at the very tip of it.
Bro, he's literally tacticaled out the wazoo. Like,
our capital.
Like, what do you mean? Isn't he wearing a fucking plate carrier and shit? Like, he's got Ziploc ties in front of his fucking plate carrier. Like, whoa. What? Thank you, anonymous user, for gifting, what, 10 tier 1 gift subs. Or not Ziploc ties, fucking zip ties. I said Ziploc ties.
And I did not come here for that shit.
Hijacked at the very tip of it by some certain organized groups, several organized groups, and from various political ideologies.
In the first war on terror, many of the groups that were the supposed terrorists were groups with which U.S. government had a very long and storied cooperative relationship. Basically, we created the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, certainly supported them, you know, as recently as basically the United States' cooperative relationship with ISIS, which it used for its geopolitical agenda, countering
Mujahideen. Wait, okay, go on. I'm listening. I'm hearing a lot of things that he's saying. They stole your whole flow? Yeah, fucking word for word, dude. Those are my bars, bitch. You can't just be spitting that. That's wild, okay? You can't just do that, okay? You can't just steal my whole flow and be like, this is mine, I did this, okay? Fucked up, dude.
The Assad regime and Iran and so forth. The elements that were designated responsible for terror were precisely the elements that the United States has a long history of instrumentalizing for its own purposes.
Not only has the government
Wait, hold up. This is blowing my mind. First of all, I got too caught up in, like, the truths that this motherfucker was spitting to realize that, are you saying that, like, the American conservative militia movement is literally the same as, like, the Mujahideen, in the same sense that they're, like, Christian fundamentalists that are ready to be agitated and fight back against the American government? Because, yeah, I mean, it's true. This is my favorite documentary of all time, I think. Because this whole thing was like, yeah, we're bad. And yeah, we did fucked up shit. And also, we're kind of like the Mujahideen. And we got agitated into doing an insurrection. And it's actually the Democrats' fault. But, like, we kind of did it, but then there was Antifa, I think.
Sponsored, funded, and armed terror groups fighting our foreign adversaries. Federal agencies have a long history of ensnaring American citizens in manufactured plots. It may sound like a conspiracy theory until you learn the undisputed details.
The FBI is responsible for more terrorism plots in the United States than any other organization.
I'm gonna fucking cry. Tucker Carlson thinks this is awesome, though. I mean, they're not. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's right. God damn it, dude. He's literally right. This is something I've said for so long. And all the Tucker Carlson fans, when I say this, are like, oh, shut the fuck up, you Muslim sympathizer, you fucking piece of shit. You love terrorism. Okay? But when Tucker says it, he's like, yep, that's based. He's based, brother. He's so fucking based and red-pilled. This is bullshit, dude. What the fuck? How are you going to steal my fucking whole flow, dude? What the fuck?
Organization.
Trevor Aronson wrote a book on this called The Terror Factory, and it analyzed every terror prosecution from 2001 to 2013. Aronson found that at least 50 defendants were on trial because of behavior that the FBI had not only encouraged but enabled. FBI agents were essentially the plotters in these crimes. They made the crimes crimes.
You scarcely need to go back 3 months prior to the so-called Capitol siege of 1/6, to an event that has now evaporated from memory and from the national consciousness, and that is the so-called Whitmer kidnapping plot.
I mean, I literally agree with this stuff. This is the stuff that I do. This is the stuff that I agree with, including the Whitmer thing. Like, this is a part of the documentary that I just like fully agree with, which is kind of weird. Except the difference is like Tucker Carlson was like a fan of that when it was happening, and now he's using that as a way to say that like you know, it's happening to white supremacist domestic terrorists, which again, you know, is a very real and very ever-present danger. Do I believe that it's do I believe the way to fucking deal with it is by, I don't know, doing the same shit that they did to like fucking autistic Muslims on the internet, autistic Muslim teenagers on the internet, by being like, here, get some Tenorite and go do a fucking direct action, go do some fucking terrorism, you know? No, I don't think that's the best way to deal with it. The Gretchen Whitmer shit is like, you called that they would bring this up a few days ago. I did call this, but I mean, and this is true. Like the Whitmer thing is, it smells like a fucking FBI op, and they controlled it way too much. Okay, and it's like a demonstrably fucking failure of a way to fucking deal with like any kind of terror. Okay, it's just not good. You can't fucking get people agitated, riled up, give them fucking the tools to go out and do like commit an act of terror, and then turn around and fucking arrest them and be like, we did a good job. Unless your sole goal is to just like, you know, whip people up into a frenzy and justify a surveillance state while never really tackling the underlying systemic problems that cause that kind of volatility and that kind of radicalization to begin with. It's just, yeah, just like doing entrapment over and over again. And that's, you know, not a successful way to go about it. Unless your, like I said, sole purpose as an organization is to justify your budget.
The alleged plan was to kidnap the governor and put her on trial for treason, all because of Michigan's COVID lockdown.
The federal government thwarted an alleged plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan in a manner that included, shockingly enough, storming the state capitol.
According to a report in BuzzFeed, Michigan State Police stood down and let protesters, including those in full tactical gear, enter the building unopposed.
Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch!
Interesting parallel. Well, it gets even better.
12 of the 18 conspirators were either FBI informants or undercover FBI agents.
Oh, he's talking about Gretchen Whitmer. This is true. Like, this is... Dude, so... The only part... And I've talked about this with Spencer Ackerman as well, who actually wrote he's a brilliant NatSec reporter. If you guys remember, we literally talked about this, like the future of the FBI and how it's becoming like a liberal agency, right? To do a little bit of rebranding. And basically, like, all of the findings so far in the court proceedings that have come out with respect to the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping and, like, thwarted assassination and kidnapping attempt show that, like, the FBI had literally their fucking finger on the scale the entire time, from top to bottom, start to finish, offering, like, material help, whether it be, like, where to get the guns and shit like that, and like, agitation in the fucking group chats and whatnot. So, like, it's exactly the same as the way that they, like, thwarted Muslim fundamentalist terror attacks that they themselves created, right? The difference is, though, that white supremacy is a significantly larger problem, unless you literally don't have an issue with white supremacy. But it's a significantly larger problem in America if you care about, marginalized people. And the way to deal with it is not by, additional FBI enforcement, but ultimately he's not wrong when he says this shit.
In other words, fully 2/3 of the people plotting to kidnap the governor of Michigan were working directly for the feds.
That's quite a percentage. It gets even better. Many of the individuals involved in this plot have been associated with the very same militia group that the government has attempted to associate with 1-6.
Wait, they're saying the 3%ers are FBI?
And if that isn't enough, I'll give you the cherry on top.
Hello, I'm Stephen D'Antuono.
The head of the Detroit field office of the FBI, who presumably oversaw all of those agents who would have been actively involved in inciting the Michigan kidnapping plot. Subsequent to that, he was quietly and suspiciously promoted to a high position within the DC field office, where he now oversees the investigation into 1-6.
Most Americans probably assume the chaos of January 6th was a result of intelligence.
Bro, there's a difference, dude. Okay? There's a difference between a singular, isolated terror attempt that you fucking basically put from top to bottom, start to finish, like, put together, versus a bunch of fucking hogs literally coming from all around the country and getting riled up into a fucking frenzy and, like, storming the Capitol building, okay? And filming themselves in the process. You can't just, like, make that fucking... You can't draw that line of comparison between the two actions when, like, there's just as much proof for the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping attempt being, like, really pushed by the FBI versus the people organically doing this on January 6th. The same amount of proof exists for both of those instances. So you can't just, like, be like, well, here's the thing that the FBI most likely did, so they probably did this too, when there's, like, an equal amount of evidence that it wasn't just, like, the FBI pushing people and agitating people into fucking storming the Capitol. What the fuck? That is an insane fucking take, dude. That's an insane take. It was Trump's FBI, so Trump did January 6th? No, it's just... You're just advocating for overreach? Wait, me? That's what you sound like? Oh, you're saying yes, I advocate against government overreach. Yes.
Failures or of simple government incompetence, but direct incitement by federal agents, the intentional entrapment of American citizens. No decent person wants to believe that, but increasingly there's...
Bro, you can entrap and agitate a bunch of dumbass, like, ANCAPs and shit into saying that they're going to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. You can't just fucking entrap, like, 20,000 people, dude. What the fuck? That's insane. All right. Like, oh yeah, 20,000 fucking Americans, up to 50,000 flew in to the Capitol and filmed themselves doing these things because they were fucking proud of it. But actually, it was just like, they were reluctant to do so. Okay. The FBI got all those people houses where houses people were to go. They got a lot of resource budget, huge bills. Wow, FBI needs to stop big budget. They're making too much pokey money. What?
There's evidence it is true. It makes you wonder, if permanent Washington is willing to launch a second war on terror on its own citizens, what else are they capable of?
Oops. Oh, this ends. It ended with like showing Ashley Babbitt dying. That was part 1. I can't wait for more of this. It's so good. So fucking good, dude. It's me.